Thank you. Mr. Woody.
Good morning, Chairman Van Drew, members of the committee. Thank you for holding this critical hearing in Charlotte. I'm Michael Woody. I'm North Carolina Chairman of the National Association for Bail Agents. I come before you today not only as an expert on secure bail, but as a lifelong North Carolina resident, a father, a grandfather, a former law enforcement professional who has witnessed firsthand how the no-cash bail policies have devastated our communities and our families. It's a shame that we had to wait until August 22nd, 2025, just 5 short weeks ago, that Iryna Zarutska, the 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee who survived the war zone and fled to safety in America, was brutally murdered on the Lynx light rail system in Charlotte. Her killer was DeCarlos Brown. He was a repeat offender with 14 prior arrests and released unsecured bail, cashless bail, on his own recognizance earlier this year at that. Despite concerns about his mental stability and his chronic diagnosis of schizophrenia, he was still released with cashless bail. The Department of Justice filed a federal complaint on September 9th charging Brown with causing death on a mass transportation system. They've elevated his charges to the federal level. Iryna fled the horrors of war only to lose her life to an offender who should have been held accountable through secured bail. This wasn't random violence. It was a preventable tragedy enabled by the reckless policies that prioritize offender convenience over public safety. Here in Mecklenburg County, courts have embraced what they call reform, unsecured bonds, and taxpayer-funded pretrial release programs. While studies show mixed results on appearance rate, the fundamental problem remains. Unsecured release removes the accountability that comes when families and communities have financial stakes in ensuring compliance. Meanwhile, stakeholders report ongoing cycles of missed court appearances and rearrest. When offenders fail to appear in court, the courts must continue their cases in absence and even sentence them in absentia, costing taxpayers enormous resources while denying victims their right to provide impact statements, such as you've heard today. And offenders with serious mental health issues, such as Brown, are released without the evaluation and treatment that could prevent these tragedies. These policies aren't just dangerous, they're expensive. Mecklenburg County alone has spent $345,000 in local taxpayer funds for new pretrial staff. They've wasted over $1.6 million in federal grants and at least $3.3 million in a private foundation money. The county now reports $3.87 million total they spent to put these offenders back on the street with no accountability. That's over $5 million to operate a system parallel to secure bail, which worked effectively and cost taxpayers nothing and provided more security for families. This is the definition of government waste, multiple bureaucracies, and millions in expenses to avoid using the system that required no taxpayer investment. Every missed court date delays justice for victims. Every repeat offense creates new victims who should have been protected. Unlike states with mandatory victim notification, North Carolina can leave victims in the dark unless they go in themselves and sign up for the North Carolina Saving Program, which is a victim notification program. The victim has to do that themselves. That should be done automatic by your local prosecutors or your local courts. Contrast this with secure bail, where family and community co-signers create layers of accountability and communication. When someone has financial skin in the game, they ensure compliance. When release is free, accountability and safety disappear. The evidence is clear. Secure bail enlists families in ensuring court appearances while protecting communities and families, all without any taxpayer cost. Members of the committee, North Carolina's experience proves that compassionate policies that ignore accountability are neither compassionate nor effective. You've heard that from 3 prior witnesses today. Federal funding should strengthen systems that protect victims and ensure court appearances, not subsidize failed experiments to endanger innocent people like Iryna and these lovely ladies here. I urge this committee to stop rewarding failure with federal dollars, support North Carolina's bipartisan Iryna's Law that targets these dangerous policies, restores accountability, protects victims, and ensures justice and fairness. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. King.
Good morning, Chairman Van Drew and the distinguished members of the subcommittee. Thank you for inviting me to participate in today's hearing on victims of violent crime. This testimony provided to you today is through my personal